Why'd you take my phone? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. Ethan didn't even look at me. It's charging, relax, it's been hours, I just want to check my messages. You said you wanted a break from the noise, remember? He ran his hand through his hair and walked past me like that was a good enough answer. I followed him down the hallway. Then give it to me. I'm not a child. He stopped. Nora. Don't start. I'm not starting. I just want you're making a scene, he hissed. My mother's waiting. I stared at his back as he walked away. Something was off in a way that made my skin crawl. At dinner, Margaret was all smiles. Too many, too wide, is a lamb too salty, dear? It's fine. I forced a smile. You've barely touched your plate. I'm not very hungry. She tilted her head, still smiling. Nerves, I blinked. Nerves? First time meeting the whole family. I remember when I met Ethan's father. God rest his soul. I couldn't eat either. Ethan laughed like that was the funniest thing he'd heard all week. I looked at him. Can we talk? Alone. In a bit, he said, sipping his wine. Just enjoy the evening. I pushed back my chair. I'll be upstairs. No, Margaret said. Standing. Let me show you your room. I had it prepared special. Your room. Not our room. I followed her down the hall. The old wooden floors creaking under her heels. She opened the door and stepped aside. Here we are. Fresh sheets, window view, and the bathroom's just across the hall. Thanks, I said slowly, stepping inside. She paused. Oh. One more thing. She leaned in and turned the lock on the outside of the door. Click. What are you doing? Her smile didn't fade, just keeping things safe. You need rest. I grabbed the knob and twisted. It didn't budge. Open the door. Don't be dramatic. Margaret. Ethan will come by in the morning. Sleep tight. The hallway light went out. I stood there, heart pounding, staring at the door. I yanked it again. Nothing, Ethan, I shouted. This isn't funny. No answer. I pounded on the door. Ethan, open the damn door. Still nothing. I backed up and kicked the door once, twice. You can't do this to me. The walls just echoed, cold, silent. I turned toward the room. No phone, no clock, no way to open the window screwed shut. What the hell was going on? When morning came, the door clicked again. Ethan stepped in like nothing had happened. You locked me in here. I snapped. You were upset. Margaret said you needed sleep. I needed air. I needed my phone. You locked me up. Ethan, his eyes flickered. It's not what you think. Then what is it? He stepped closer. You're overwhelmed. The wedding. The move, the adjustment. I shoved him back. Don't gaslight me. This isn't normal. This isn't love. He looked down at the floor. Just, trust me, I did, and look where that got me. He sighed. You'll feel better soon. Where's my phone? He turned and walked away. I ran after him. But the door slammed shut again. Locked. This wasn't a house. This was a cage. And Ethan, the man I married, was holding the key. I'm not sick, I said. I want my phone and I want to leave. Margaret smiled like I was a child having a tantrum. You're not well, dear. Everyone can see it. Everyone. Ethan. I turned to him. You think I'm crazy too? He didn't answer. Say something, I shouted. He stared at the wall. You haven't been yourself. I haven't been myself because I'm trapped in this house. I snapped. Because you let her lock me in like some animal. Margaret reached over and placed her hand on mine. I yanked it away. That's why we've brought in someone to help, she said calmly. A professional. What? The door opened and a man stepped in. Gray suit, smooth voice, clipboard. Of course, I'm Dr. Klein, he said. I just want to talk. I don't want to talk to you, I said. He pulled up a chair. That's okay, I'll just ask a few questions. I didn't ask for this. I'm not sick. Sometimes when people are under a lot of stress, they don't realize how it affects their behavior. I laughed. What stress? Being kidnapped by your own in-laws? Yeah, maybe that's stressful. He scribbled something down. I'm not joking. Do you feel unsafe here? Yes. Has anyone physically hurt you? Being locked in a room is violence. Being ignored when I ask for help is violence. Being told I'm crazy when I know I'm not. That's abuse. More scribbling. I want to speak to someone outside this house, I said. We're concerned about your mental health. He said gently. Your husband and mother-in-law both told me you've had episodes. Episodes, screaming, crying, panic attacks because I'm being held against my will. He looked at me like I was confirming his diagnosis. You people are insane. I stood up. This is messed up, Nora, Ethan said quietly. Just let him help. No, I said. You let them do this to me. You don't get to act like you care now. He looked away. Do you believe me? I asked him. I think you need rest, he said. I wanted to throw the chair. I sat back down instead, breathing hard. Dr. Klein folded his hands. Let's try something different. Tell me how you've been feeling since arriving. Trapped, angry, betrayed. He nodded like I was reading a textbook. Any hallucinations, nightmares? I'm wide awake, the nightmare is real, do you feel like people are watching you? Yes, because they are. Cameras in the hallway, locked doors. Whispers when I walk into a room. I understand, he said. No. You don't. Margaret came back in with a cup of tea, chamomile. It'll help you sleep. I'm not drinking that. Sweetheart, she said. Why would we hurt you? Because you already are. Dr. Klein stood up. I'll come back tomorrow. Try to stay calm. Don't bother. I muttered, I'll be gone by then. He turned to Margaret. Keep an eye on her. I always do, she said. They left me in that room again, alone. I stared at the mirror on the wall, my face looked pale, smaller. I sunk in. Maybe they're right. I whispered, I pressed my palms to my head, maybe. I am crazy. But deep inside, something pushed back. No, you're not. I pressed the old landline against my ear, praying the static wouldn't give me away. Sophie? It's me, Nora. Her voice crackled. Where are you calling from? This isn't your number. I found a phone in the study. I don't have much time. Listen, something's wrong. What do you mean? I'm not on a vacation. I'm being kept here. I don't have my phone. I can't leave and they brought in a doctor. Wait, slow down. What? I think Ethan planned this. Margaret keeps saying I need rest. They locked me in a room, Sophie? There was silence. You believe me, right? She exhaled. Nora, maybe you're just overwhelmed. You've had a tough year. The move. The wedding. No. No, don't do that. Don't treat me like them. I'm not. I'm just trying to understand. I'm telling you I'm a prisoner, and you're trying to understand, Sophie. You're the only one I trust. She hesitated. Maybe you need to talk to someone, a therapist, I mean. I pulled the phone away for a second just to breathe. Sophie, I whispered. They're gaslighting me, Nora. I'm not crazy. I know what's happening. I know what I feel. I want to help you. But if Ethan and his family are worried, maybe it's because what? Because I'm emotional. Because I finally stopped pretending everything was fine. Nora, you sound unstable right now. I blinked, stunned. You don't believe me. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. The click of heels echoed behind me. I turned. Margaret stood in the hallway, smiling. Who are you talking to, dear? My chest tightened. Just myself. She stepped closer. You. No, you're not supposed to be in here. I needed a book, I said, forcing my voice steady. She looked at the phone, then back at me. Books don't talk. I hung up. You're getting clever, she said softly. I clenched my fists. She didn't believe me. Of course she didn't, Margaret said, her tone sweet. You sound like a lunatic. I didn't respond. She brushed invisible lint from her sleeve. You keep this up and we'll have to take more drastic steps. What does that mean? Sleep, meds. Quiet. I'm not sick. No. She agreed. You're inconvenient. I stood there, heart racing. She smiled wider. Go. Back to your room, Nora. And if I don't, she tilted her head, then someone else will make you. I walked away. I didn't want to see who she meant. Back in my room, I stared at the walls. I tried to cry. Nothing came. I whispered. I'm alone. The silence agreed. I stopped talking. I started watching. Every footstep, every whisper, every smile that didn't reach their eyes. And that's when I noticed him. Julian. He didn't flinch when I looked at him. He didn't force kindness or fake concern. He just watched me back. One afternoon, I caught him staring as Margaret scolded me for refusing tea. His eyes didn't look cruel, just tired, maybe even sorry. That's when I started paying closer attention. Julian, I said one morning, when we crossed paths in the hallway. Do you know where Ethan is? He paused. No. Ma'am, don't call me ma'am. He nodded once. Okay? You're different from the others. He didn't respond, just kept walking. That night, I heard footsteps near the basement. I followed quietly. It was him. Julian, I whispered. He froze. You shouldn't be down here. Why? His voice lowered. It's not safe. Then why are you here? He didn't answer, just stared at me like he wanted to say something. Then he turned and disappeared into the darkness. The next day, I passed the basement again. The door was unlocked. I stood there, staring at the knob. My heart thought was this a trap, or a mistake, or a message? I opened it slowly. No alarm. No click, just quiet. Cool air brushed my face as I stepped down the stairs. The wooden steps creaked under my feet. Halfway down, I whispered, Julian, no. Answer. I reached the bottom. The air smelled like old paint and damp cement. There were boxes, tools, shelves stacked with dusty books. And a second door. It was metal, heavy. I pressed my hand to it. It pushed open with a groan. The room beyond wasn't storage. It was a cell. Small. Padded walls, a single light bulb hanging above. I backed away. What is this? I breathed. Nora. I spun around. Julian stood at the top of the stairs. You weren't supposed to come down here. What is this room? He descended slowly. They said you panic. Who said? Margaret, Ethan. Everyone. You knew. He didn't speak. You knew they were doing this to me? I don't agree with it. You let it happen. I couldn't stop it. You left the door unlocked. Why? His jaw tensed. To see if you come. So it was a test. I wanted to know if you were still fighting. I stared at him. What do you see when you look at me? He blinked. Someone who doesn't belong here. Then help me. It's not that simple. Why not? They'll notice. They always do. So that's it. I stay locked up while you do nothing. I didn't say I'd do nothing. Then, say something useful. Tell me how to get out. He looked past me. There's a storm door behind the wall panel. But it's bolted from the outside. Who has the key? Margaret, of course. Then you need to get it for me. He hesitated. If I'm caught, I'll already be gone. He stepped back toward the stairs. I'll see what I can do. That's not enough. It's all I can offer. Why help me at all? He looked over his shoulder. Because I've seen what they do to people who stop pretending. Then he left. I turned back to the padded room. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, breathing, thinking. Margaret smiled because she thought she'd broken me. But I just found my way out. The drawer was stiff. I had to tug it hard. Inside were photos, black and white, faded at the edges. Ethan as a boy. Margaret younger, colder. Then letters, typed, signed, not love notes. Legal papers, promises, conditions. I sat on the cold floor and whispered, what the hell is this? One envelope had my name on it, but I hadn't written it. It was a contract between two families, with terms, restrictions, fertility clauses. No mention of love. No mention of me as a person. Just language, clinical, cold. They hadn't married me, they'd acquired me. Footsteps behind me. I turned fast, heart pounding. Julian stood at the door. I held the papers up. You knew? He stepped inside. Not all of it. I tossed a photo at him. This is disgusting. I agree. So, what now? You lock me up again. He looked at me. Really looked. No. I'll help you. I waited, breath held. But we have to be smart, he added. Define smart. No sudden moves, no panic. They watch everything. I'm tired of waiting. No. I thought Ethan loved me. Julian's voice was quiet. He doesn't love anyone. I was just convenient. Your father owed them. Your marriage settled the debt. My stomach turned. What debt? I don't know the details. They used me. He didn't argue. I pointed to the documents. These prove everything. They'll say you forged them, then help me get proof that matters. He nodded. The cameras. What cameras? In the study. The one Margaret locks. What's in there? Footage, audio. They document everything. Why? To protect themselves. Can you get me in? I can try. Try isn't good enough. He stepped closer. Do you want out or not? Of course I do. Then stop yelling, stop reacting, start listening. I folded my arms. Fine. I'm listening. We make a copy of the footage. You mail it out, somewhere safe. Safe like where? Someone who believes you. I laughed bitterly. There's no one. There must be. There was. Her name was Sophie. Call her again. She didn't believe me the first time. Try anyway. And what if she still doesn't? Then we disappear. I blinked. Disappear? There's a way out. I know it. You've done this before. No. But I've dreamed of it. I stared at him. Why stay? He looked away. Because fear is a cage. I folded the letters, tucked them into my sweater. What if they catch us? They won't. How can you be so sure? Because we'll be smart. He held out a key. What's this? Margaret's study. She's out with Ethan until morning. I gripped it hard. You're sure? He nodded. We moved quickly, quietly, down the hall, past the grandfather clock that always chimed wrong inside the study. It smelled like lavender and dust. Where's the server? I asked. Julian pointed to a cabinet behind the desk. I opened it. Drives, labeled dated. I need something recent, I whispered. 3 nights ago. That's when you screamed. I grabbed the drive. Flashlight, he said. He handed it to me. I scrolled through folders. There I was crying in the hallway. Margaret standing over me like I was a dog. Julian watched the footage. That's enough. Not yet. Click, another video. Ethan, calm, cold, she's unstable. He said on screen. Margaret nodded. Once the clinic signs off, we'll start sedation. I couldn't breathe. Julian touched my arm. That's your proof. I backed away. They wanted to erase me. Mail the drive. Where? Give it to me. I know where. I hesitated. If you betray me, I won't. Everyone else has. I'm not everyone else. I handed him the drive. If I go down, I said, take them with me. He nodded once. We will. We left the study and locked the door behind Us. No one saw us. But for the first time since I got here, I wasn't afraid. I had proof. And someone who saw me as more than a contract. Where did you get this? I whispered, holding the scrap of paper. Julian didn't look up. It was under Margaret's planner, a number, a burner. You'll need it. And this? I held up a jagged page from my old diary. My handwriting, my words, found it in the trash. Thought it might help. I stared at it. I thought they burned it. Most of it, not all. My voice trembled. Why are you doing this? He glanced around. Because I've seen what they do to people they own. You're not the first. I need more than scraps. They're what I can get for now. I clutched the page. They can't erase me. Exactly. Later. As I scrubbed dishes in the kitchen, Mia brushed past me and dropped a folded note by the sink. No words, just a glance. I unfolded it with shaking fingers. I believe. My throat tightened. I looked over my shoulder. Mia was already gone. It wasn't much, but it was something. That night, the storm came. Wind howled. The walls groaned. Rain battered the glass like fists. I crept to the window in the east hall. The one with the broken latch Julian never fixed, and I saw her. Mrs. Dunn. My old neighbor. Umbrella in one hand, groceries in the other. She looked up, just as lightning cracked the sky. Our eyes met. My hand hit the glass. Mrs. Dunn, I screamed. Help me. Her head turned. Her eyes narrowed. I slammed the glass harder. Please, I'm here. I'm still here. She took a step forward, then Margaret's voice sliced through the hall. What are you doing? I kept screaming. Help me. Margaret grabbed my arm. You're disturbing the whole house. She saw me. Who, Mrs. Dunn? Outside. Margaret's nails dug in. There's no one there. Let me go. You're hysterical. Let me go. Julian came running. What's happening? She's having another episode. Margaret snapped. I saw someone. There's nothing out there. She hissed. Julian stepped between us. Let me take her. She needs sedation. No. He said firmly. She needs rest. Margaret glared. But let go. He led me away, my chest heaving. She saw me. I whispered. I know she did. I believe you. She has to tell someone. Maybe she will. What if she doesn't? Then we try again. She saw me. I said again, barely breathing. I'm not invisible. Julian reached into his pocket and handed me a key. What's this? Room upstairs, unused. No cameras. You'll be safe there. For how long? As long as I can keep it that way. I leaned against the wall. I feel like I'm slipping. You're not. She said I was hysterical. She's wrong. They all say that. Not Mia. I looked up. She gave me a note. He nodded. She's one of us. There are more? Quiet ones, observers. Why don't they speak louder? Because loud people get locked in basements. I flinched. I'm sorry, he added. I just want out. We're getting closer. It doesn't feel like it. I know. Back in my room, I sat by the window, heart pounding. I stared at the garden, willing Mrs. Dunn to come back. The next morning, Mia slipped a folded napkin onto my tray. Inside it, she came back, asked questions. I didn't answer. I looked up at her. Mia gave the smallest nod. She saw me. I whispered. She's afraid, Mia murmured, barely moving her lips. I would be too. She left a card. Where is it? Gone. Margaret took it. Of course she did. I waited until nightfall, then crept into the hall. Julian was already there. Did you get the footage mailed? I whispered. He nodded. It's in the wind now. I almost cried. Instead, I asked, what if Margaret figures it out? She won't. She's too confident. She thinks she's winning. Let her. I paused. I want to scream again. Don't. She needs to know I'm still here. She knows. She won't come back unless I make her. She already came back once. And next time, they'll be ready. I pressed my forehead to the wall. I hate this house. I do too. It's not a home. It's a prison. I looked at him. Do you think I'm crazy? No. Are you sure? I've been watching you longer than you know. That made me shiver. Why? Because you don't give up? Maybe I should. You won't. He was right. Because Mrs. Dunn saw me, and Mia believed me. And Julian was helping me. Piece by piece, scrap by scrap. I wasn't invisible anymore. Mrs. Langston, the voice at the front door was crisp. Mail. Margaret called out before I could answer. Detective Ames. What a surprise. Please, come in. Would you like tea? Coffee? I'll pass. Thank you. I'm just here to follow up on a report. My throat went dry. Ethan appeared beside me like a ghost. Detective. Good to see you. I'm sure this is all just a misunderstanding. I barely nodded. My legs were shaking. Is this your wife? Detective Ames asked. Ethan smiled and touched my lower back. Yes, Nora, she's been a little under the weather. She looks pale. She's just been resting, Margaret said, too quickly. She's fragile, you understand. I'd like to speak with her alone. Margaret's face twitched. Of course. But she doesn't always. I'd like to speak with her alone. He repeated. Ethan hesitated. Maybe I should stay. I said alone. They both stepped back. He led me into the study and shut the door. Mum, he said, sitting across from me. You made a noise complaint 2 weeks ago. Your voice was recorded screaming for help. I blinked. You heard it. We did. Is everything all right? I nodded too fast. Yes, I mean no. I mean, take your time. I looked at the door, whispered, they're watching me. Who? Margaret? Ethan? Everyone. They don't let me leave. His pen stopped moving. Are you saying you're being held here? Yes. Against your will. I nodded. Since we arrived, what's in the basement? I froze. Mrs. Langston. There are records, files, documents, things they don't want found. Would you be willing to show me? I hesitated. Yes. But they'll know. Then. Let's do it now. When we stepped out, Margaret was waiting. I was just telling Ethan we should show the detective our new wine cellar. Actually, Detective Ames said, I'd like to see the basement, all of it. Margaret blinked. Ethan cleared his throat. It's not very organized. That's fine. Margaret's smile stretched thin. Of course, right this way. She started walking. Her heels clicked loud on the wood floor. Julian stood at the end of the hallway. His eyes met mine for a split second. He nodded. We descended the stairs. Margaret reached for the light. It's a bit dusty. Step aside, the detective said. I held my breath. The light flickered on boxes, cabinets, locked drawers. This is it? He asked. There's more, I said, stepping forward. Behind that wall. Margaret's voice rose. She's confused. That's just old insulation. There's a panel, I said, pointing. Right there. The detective approached it, tapped. It's hollow. Margaret reached for his arm. Really? This isn't necessary. Don't touch me. He pulled a knife from his belt and popped the panel. It opened with a creak. I watched Margaret's face crack. Behind the wall, files, photos, names, contracts. He pulled one out. These are adoption records. They're illegal, I said. Blackmail, leverage, everything. Margaret turned to me. You don't understand what you're doing. I understand perfectly. You'll ruin everything. I hope I do. Ethan stepped forward. Nora, think about what you're saying. You locked me in this house. You needed help. You used me. He sighed. You're making a scene. The detective raised his badge. I'm placing you both under investigation. Margaret's voice sharpened. We've done nothing wrong. We'll see. I took a deep breath. Do you believe me now? He looked at me. I do. Julian stepped down into the basement. Margaret gasped. You, hi, mother? He said coolly. You were supposed to be loyal. I chose right. You're nothing without us. We'll see. The detective turned to me. Can you gather your belongings? Yes, you'll need to come with me. Gladly. Margaret stepped forward. You can't take her. She's an adult. She's free to go. I watched Ethan's mouth tighten. You're making a mistake. He said. No. I replied. I made one the day I married you. Julian opened the door upstairs. Mia stood waiting with my coat. She whispered. Told you someone heard. I hugged her. Thank you. Margaret's voice rose behind us. We gave you everything. I didn't turn around. The air outside hit my skin like freedom. The detective opened the car door. I paused. Looked up at the house one last time, then stepped inside. You sure you want to see this? Detective Ames asked, holding the folder in his hand. I have to. I said, it's mine. He nodded and slid it across the table. Photos, my face, my arms, my diary pages, copied and cataloged. Julian had handed over everything, every twisted piece of truth they'd hidden. I flipped through each page slowly. These were in the walls, behind insulation, he said. Your instincts were dead on. I touched the corner of a photo. My bruised wrist. Will it be enough? It already was. Ethan's in custody. Margaret ran. We caught her in Delaware. My voice cracked. And Ava? She turned herself in. Made a full statement. I pressed my palm to my chest. So, that's it. The case is solid. It's over, Nora. But it didn't feel over. I left the station in silence. At home, my new home. Alone. Small. I dropped my bag by the couch and stared at the empty walls. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Nora, Julian's voice. I closed my eyes. You shouldn't be calling me. I know. I just wanted to hear your voice. You saved me. You saved yourself. Why'd you do it? He paused. Because they never broke you. They almost did. Almost isn't the same. I leaned against the wall. What now? You heal. I don't know how. Start by breathing. Then keep going. Silence. I'm not a hero, Julian. I know. You're something better. You're free. When I hung up, I cried. Not from sadness but release. 3 weeks later, I stood in court. The judge read the charges. Ethan didn't look at me once. When it was over, I stepped outside, face to the sun. Sophie was waiting on the courthouse steps. She rushed up. Nora, I didn't think you'd want me here. I didn't, I said honestly. She nodded. I deserve that. You said I was overwhelmed. I was scared. I didn't know how bad it was. You still don't. Let me try. I stared at her. Why now? Because I saw the photos, I read the testimony. And I couldn't sleep. You believe them more than me. I was wrong. I inhaled deeply. I'm not angry. I'm just tired. She looked down. Can I take you to lunch? I'm not ready for lunch. Coffee, then? I hesitated. Maybe someday. She stepped back. I'll wait. I walked away. That night, I woke up screaming. I sat up, heart pounding, chest heaving. Soaked in sweat. My therapist's words echoed. Trauma doesn't end with a threat. It lives inside you until you teach it peace. I whispered into the dark. You're safe now. I said it again and again. The next morning, I called Mia. Hello? Her soft voice answered. It's me, I said. Nora, oh my God. Are you okay? I'm free. She laughed. Then cried. I didn't think I'd hear your voice again. You saved me too. I just opened the door. You believed me when no one else did. You didn't imagine it, Nora. We all knew. We were just too afraid to say anything. I'm not afraid anymore, she whispered. Good. I visited the beach the next day. Alone. The wind hit my face like truth. A little boy ran by. Laughing, a couple held hands. Life moved forward like it always does. My phone buzzed again. A message from Julian. The house is being torn down. Thought. You want to know? I didn't reply. I just smiled. Let it burn. Back in my apartment. I made tea and sat on the floor. No furniture. No distractions, just me. I took out a new journal. The pages were crisp, clean, untouched. I wrote. I wasn't a wife. I was a prisoner. But I am free now, and freedom, though quiet, is mine. I closed the book. The silence felt different now. Not empty, wide open. I whispered again, just to be sure. You're safe now. And for the first time in a long time, I believed it. Are you sure about this? Julian asked, standing beside me on the cracked sidewalk. I have to. I said, staring at the house. I need to see it one last time. It's empty, has been for months. I know. He hesitated. Want me to go in with you? No. I need to do this alone. He nodded, stepping back. The key slid in easier than I expected. The door creaked open. The silence hit me first, not heavy, not haunted, just silence. I stepped inside, same floors. I muttered, same smell. Dust floated in the sunlight, slicing through the broken blinds. I walked down the hall. This is where he told me I was crazy. I whispered to no one. Right here, in this hallway. The walls listened. I moved into the kitchen. This is where Margaret watched me cry and said nothing. I touched the counter. This is where Ava handed me tea and said it was all in my head. The refrigerator was gone. So was the clock. Only the shadows remained. The basement door groaned as I opened it. No more secrets, I whispered. The stairs still creaked. Halfway down, I stopped. This is where I found the photos, the letters, my life broken down into files. I closed my eyes, inhaled, exhaled. I'm not here to remember, I said aloud. I'm here to let it go. I climbed back up. The living room was next. I sat on the floor where the rug used to be. This is where Sophie called, where I begged her to believe me. The window still had the crack in it. The one I made the night I screamed for Mrs. Dunn. I stood slowly, walked to the fireplace. This is where Ethan kissed my forehead while lying through his teeth. I looked around. I don't forgive you, I said. To all of them, to none of them. But I'm done carrying you. I moved upstairs. The bedroom door was stuck. I shoved it open with my shoulder. This is where I screamed into pillows. Where? I planned my escape in silence. The bed was gone, the dresser too. But the memory stayed. I'm not your property anymore. I walked into the closet. This is where I hid the diary pages Julian returned. Where I counted bruises like days. The light flickered. I didn't flinch. I stepped back into the hallway. This is where I stood in the dark, wondering if I'd die here. And then, I smiled. Not today. Downstairs, the front door waited. I stopped in the entryway. I don't owe you forgiveness, I whispered. But I owe myself freedom. I looked back one last time. I'm leaving you behind outside. Julian waited by the car. He raised an eyebrow. Well, it's done, I said. No ghosts? They don't get to follow me, he handed me the lighter. Want to burn it down? I laughed, tempting. But I don't need fire to be free. He smiled. So, what now? I live, simple as that. It won't be easy, but it's mine. Julian opened the car door for me, ready more than ever. As we drove away, I didn't look back, not once. Ma'am, the contractor called, poking his head through the doorway. You're gonna want to see this. I set down the box I was unpacking. What is it? We were patching the wall in the back room north wing. Found something wedged behind the panel. My heart skipped. What kind of something? He handed me a folded piece of yellow paper. My handwriting. I wrote this. Didn't look recent. He said. We didn't read it. I sank onto the nearest chair. If you're reading this, I survived. I swallowed hard. I never stopped trying. I have forgotten about that night. The loose panel. The pen I'd stolen. The hours I spent writing. In case no one ever heard my voice. And I hope you don't either. Julian appeared in the doorway. You okay? I wrote this, years ago. When I thought I was going to die here. He walked over. Can I? I handed it to him. He read in silence, lips moving. I remember that night, I said softly. They locked me in for 3 days. No food, no sound, just me in the dark. He looked up. You wrote your way out. I had nothing else. This line, he pointed, right here. You're not alone. Even if they try to make you believe you are. It gave me chills. It gave me life. He folded the paper carefully. We should frame it. It wasn't meant for a frame. What then? A museum wall, I said, a shelter. Somewhere someone might read it and think, I can keep going. Julian nodded. From pain to power, exactly. The contractor reappeared. Want us to patch that wall now? No, I said. Leave it open. Let people see where the truth was hidden. He tilted his head. You sure? Absolutely, after. He left. Julian leaned against the window. It's wild, you were in that room, starving. Terrified, and you still had hope. I had nothing but hope. Do you remember writing the last line? I remember crying after it. He pulled out his phone. I want to take a picture of it. Go ahead. As a shutter clicked. I whispered. I wasn't writing for me. I was writing for her, the girl who'd find it someday. The one still trapped. Still waiting. Julian looked at me. Do you think she'll read it? She already has. He blinked. You mean? I mean me? I became her. I found my own words again. He sat beside me. You're not the same woman who wrote that. No. But I carry her. What do you want to do with it now? Read it out loud. Are you sure? I unfolded it. My voice trembled. They keep telling me I'm nothing, that I'm lucky, that no one is coming. But I write this anyway. Because even in silence I believe someone will listen. I took a shaky breath. My name was mine before they tried to erase it. And if you're reading this, I survived. I never stopped trying. And I hope you don't either. Julian wiped his eyes. That's not just a letter. That's a war cry. It's a promise. To who? To every version of me that almost gave up. I pressed the letter to my chest. Julian said, let's build something here. A space for survivors, for stories, for truth, and that wall stays untouched, I said. So no one forgets. He stood. Then let's get started. As he walked away, I stared at the paper, torn edges, smudged ink, shaky lines, but every word still stood. So did I.